Well, we have reached the pinnacle. We have reached Thanksgiving Day high school football. The feast has begun here on CT Sports Now. So glad you're with us. I'm Mark Robbins. That young man, Noah Fins.
Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in here on CT Sports Now on Vantage Sportsnet, coming at you from the studios at Sacred Heart University. We have a whole lot of high school football to get through as we've dedicated this whole show to high school football, and why not? That's what Thanksgiving is all about in Connecticut, right? 10 o'clock, 10:30 games throughout the state. And at the end of the program, we'll try to put all the games into perspective and let you know who's making the playoffs in all the different classes. That said, why don't we get going with the game that was perhaps the most anticipated game of the day throughout the state. That is Darien versus New Canaan. New Canaan needing to get in. A lot of intrigue over this one because Darien suspending 3 players before the game. New Canaan, the fans, with hope. Lots of hope in this one in a game that was very defensive early. First play from scrimmage for Darien. Jake Sancio with the interception for New Canaan, and he's taking it in for the score. And just like that, one play in, it's a 6-0, make it a 7-0 game. It was 10-0 at the half, but it was all defense. New Canaan's D was huge. Look at Sam Gilman getting in at back-to-back sacks here for the Rams. Second half action after it was 10-0. New Canaan looking for a little insurance because no lead is safe, right? So Owen Shin breaks what would have been a tackle, dives his way into the end zone, a 24-yard touchdown play. It's 17-0. At this point, any points will do, right? If you're Darien or even if you're New Canaan. Luke McPhillips, a 42-yard field goal. It just cleared. But how about that? 42 yards. Now it's just making the defense stick, holding off that Darien offense. Zachary Miller does just that. The interception. And he's got nothing but open field in front of him. The second pick 6 of the game. That makes it 27-0. And at this point, it was just about the students waiting to get their chance to run onto the field and celebrate with their teammates. And you'll see them on the sideline. They're just like, can we go? Yeah, they can. Go ahead on there and celebrate. 27-0. New Canaan with the victory over Darien. Breaks a string of 6 straight Darien victories in this game.
It's phenomenal. I'm on cloud 9 right now. I can't believe it. And we made state, so I couldn't be happier.
I think we love this position. We love our backs on the wall. Being able to really come out against Darien, of all teams. It's the greatest feeling because we can come out here with everything we got, everything on the line, and give it all we got, and come out on top is just incredible.
So I'd love to tell you that it was all my stuff, but those guys did a tremendous job, and the kids that executed the plan I thought were tremendous.
Well, the win puts New Canaan into the playoffs. They had a win to get in, and they are in. We'll wrap up all of Class L coming up in just a little bit.
What a clutch performance. How about Ansonia and Naugatuck, the 117th meeting? I was not there for the first, but the second was terrific. Markel Dobbs, terrific once again for Ansonia, the Charger running back. 15-yard touchdown scamper and an 8-0 Ansonia lead. He was going to have a huge day. Big day for the Naugatuck special teams. The block punt and the doggies are celebrating. They get the touchdown. Yes, indeed, and it's an 8-7 game, but then Dobbs. He's going to Central Connecticut, but he's got a few high school games left. Well, at least one more after this one. Running through the Naugatuck defense for yet another score. 28 yards on that one, 16-7. Ansonia leading it, and then why not throw the ball a little bit? Justin Lopez, 50 yards to Brent Washington, and that'll set up Mr. Dobbs one more time. Slicing, weaving, powering his way in for the score. 24-7 at this point. Ansonia goes on and continues its season undefeated. First loss for the Greyhounds, though both are in the state tournament. We'll talk about it. 46-28, Ansonia a winner. How do you like your Apple Valley cobbler or trophy? I like mine warm with ice cream. It's the Apple Valley Classic. Southington at Cheshire. Big game for both. Cheshire on the move, third quarter. John Araba scrambling to Eric Angelone, who says, leave me alone. I want to pick up a few extra yards. That sets up this. 2 plays later, watch Rabba. This is really a quarterback sneak. He sneaks up and across the goal line. A little bit of help from his teammates. And Southington hanging on to a 16-14 lead after that Cheshire touchdown. Southington needs to answer, and they do with Ryan Montalvo. First, a punishing 22-yard run. Next play, Montalvo, 28 yards, finding a hole and finding the end zone. Southington with 2 third-quarter touchdowns puts this one away, 30-22, but disappointment on both sides. Cheshire loses the game. Southington wins, but edged out of the Class XXL state tournament. 30-22 your final.
Yeah, you think about it, it's unbelievable, right? Because Southington thinking if it wins, it gets in. But what happened in the next game we're going to show you here may have determined the fate of both of these teams here. So for that, let's bring in one of our Sacred Heart contributors, Franco Micheo, covering a couple of big games that had a lot to say about the Class XXL playoff situation. Franco, show us the action.
Hey Noah, so it seems like upsets, it's the early theme of this Thanksgiving football feast that we have today. And that's exactly what Fairfield Prep would need against West Haven to get into the Class XXL playoff. They would need a win, plus some help from some other teams. Something will have to give. A packed house. Prep, the Jesuit fans were rowdy. They come out in masses at Rafferty Stadium over at Fairfield University. In the third quarter, tied at 7. That's West Haven's Jake Conlon who rolls out, finds Mike Charlton. This makes it 14-7 Westies. It seems like the West Haven offense might be picking up steam, and they might just be par for the course, running away with this one. However, 4 plays later in the third quarter, Will Lucas finds a streaking Christopher Duffy, who runs it in, breaks a tackle, and ties it at 14. And the Fairfield fans are loving that. In the fourth quarter, Fairfield stops West Haven in their next possession. 4th and 9, rolls out and finds Philip De Jesus for the first down conversion. And a couple plays later, that sets up Will Lucas. Is just going to keep it himself. Ooh, breaks a tackle there for the touchdown. That makes it 21-14 Prep. They just need one more stop, and they get it in their next possession. That's Cal Godfrey, the star running back from West Haven. He is stripped by Austin Vallis from Fairfield Prep. They get the ball back with 5 minutes left. All they would have to do is get one more first down, and they get precisely that, and they proceed to run out the rest of the clock, and Fairfield Prep wins it. Fairfield Prep makes it to the playoff, and they will actually face the winner of this next game that I went to, Greenwich, who actually moves on to the first seed in Class XXL with Darienne's loss to New Canaan. The Wreckers early on getting a false start before the game even started. And in the first quarter, it seemed like the Greenwich's offense was just going to come out steaming. That is, Gavin Moore, the quarterback, finds Tyson Comisio for the first down. A couple plays later, that sets up the quarterback again, a keeper, fakes the handoff. That makes it 7-0 Cardinals. However, Staples responds. 4 plays later, that is Daniel Thompson who finds Max Lonergan for a 68-yard bomb, and it's tied at 7 early on. And from here on, the offenses would kind of shut down, the defenses would take over. That is Gramos BC who strip sacks the quarterback and forces the turnover. Greenwich gets it back, but the Staples defense responds. 4th down, 4th and goal, they stuff him at the goal line, and the Wreckers offense takes over. However, we're sensing a theme here, right? This is Hunter Cusimano, who makes a great play on the football, gets the interception, and this would set up with 17 seconds left in the second quarter. Muir lands large for a 55-yard bomb. He actually ran past the camera there for a little bit, but I got the chance to cut up. And this would kickstart the Cardinal offense, who would actually roll to a 31-14 victory. And that sets it. The Cardinals actually secure, like I said, the first seed in the Class XXL playoffs. They would get Fairfield Prep, who managed to get in with the victory over West Haven. So overall, it was a great couple of games that I had here in this Thanksgiving football feast. Back to you guys for more.
Franco, terrific job. Boy, I'll tell you, when coming into the season, people weren't really sure about Greenwich, how good they would be.
Yeah, very young squad.
Right,
yeah.
Young team, and now Greenwich secures the #1 seed in Class XXL, And how about Fairfield Prep suffered an injury very early in the season to their star running back, and they've managed to overcome that in their very last regular season game, find a way to beat a very talented West Haven team and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a Red Bowl on Tuesday at Greenwich between those two. Now, in Class M, we have a kind of a loser leave town matchup.
Yeah.
The winner actually getting into this one, Joel Barlow against Weston. And we'll pick things up, and I'll tell you what, both squads, as they should be, hyped for this one because the winner, again, will keep on playing. And William Cusick for Barlow gets to the outside and goes 40 yards. And Joel Barlow, the visitors, the Falcons, have the lead early, and then their defense adding to the total. Calvin Peterson with the tackle in the end zone for the safety, add 2 more to it, a 9-0 lead. Here's Charlie Wilson taking the pass. And into the end zone. On the swing pass, the touchdown makes it 16-0. Barlow certainly in control, and Peterson in the second quarter breaking free. A 23-0 lead for Joel Barlow, and Barlow is going to roll to this one. That was about half the points they would score. Joel Barlow knocks off Weston and into the state playoffs. A 50-14 victory for the Falcons over the Trojans.
So one of these teams had a win to get in, and Barlow does it convincingly. So congratulations to Joel Barlow moving on to the playoffs. We're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to check in on North Haven having to win to get into the playoffs. We'll have the Elm City Bowl. We'll have the Battle of Stratford, the Battle of Milford. We'll even show you Watertown versus Torrington and so much more coming up here on CT Sports Now, our football feast. Oh, the party never ends here on CT Sports Now on Vantage Sports Net. Welcome back, studios, Sacred Heart University. So we have all these teams needing to win on this big, either way, regardless of whether you're making the playoffs, it's big. It's Thanksgiving Day. It's rivalry football. It's the way to end the season.
Yes.
You want to go out on top. It's a big, great day for the community. But anyway, that said, North Haven trying to secure their spot in Class L.
Yeah, and for the 22nd time, taking on arch rival Amity. Had to do it on the road, and of course, as Noah said, with a playoff spot in Class L on the line, and the Spartans fired up trying to get a 4th victory for Teddy Sapiga and the community as they continue to improve the program. The how do you do's, the pleased to meet yous, and away we go. First quarter, Devin Brockamere weaving his way through the Spartan defense, cutting it back, and just like that, it's a 7-0 lead for North Haven. Later on, Mark Montano to Steve Irby, and at the goal line, the ball pops loose. Matt Wiedenfeller picks it off. That's a fumble recovery and a touchback, Amity possession. You know what? That play worked until the end. So the next series, they run it again. Montano to Irby, and this time Irby will not be denied. Gets it into the end zone for the score. It was 16-0 at this point, and North Haven gets its Class L state playoff berth. A 46-7 victory over the Spartans, and North Haven moving on. They will play Tuesday in Class L, Noah.
Well, let's keep things in that same conference, because Shelton out of the SCC trying to improve its playoff seeding, and for that we bring in one of our contributors out of Southern Connecticut State University. Been covering sports for us all season long, doing a great job. That is Chris Raza. Chris, show us what you got here, buddy.
Well, like you said, Shelton, they had their playoffs locked up. They're going to the playoffs, but a home game was still on the line, and let me tell you, home field advantage in these playoffs is a big deal. They took on Derby for the 107th meeting, a long-standing rivalry there with Derby. There's the trophy. Who's going to get it? Well, we're going to find out. It's going to start off with some big defense with Michael Lakovich, the fumble, and he'll pick it up for Shelton to start off with some good defense there. They'll get the ball at the 43-yard line early in the first quarter. And then after the fumble, Shelton's Jake Roberts finds Brian Burrito there for the 10-yard touchdown. So Shelton will go up 7-0 right there in the middle of the first quarter. Get up there, big fella. Very excited. This is a big rivalry, ladies and gentlemen. And then Shelton's Zachary McEwen, he wants to get in on the defensive fun. So he's going to take the Derby quarterback down to the ground there. That'll force a punt late in the first quarter. And then on the ensuing drive, Jake Roberts, he wants to get in the end zone now. So he's going to bring it right in. Push, push. There you go. That's another touchdown. 14-0 Shelton is up there at the end of the first quarter. And then, just for fun, we're going to put in one more. Jake Roberts to the captain, Michael Casanelli. That'll give Shelton a 21-0 lead there early in the second quarter, and they would go on to roll 48-6 in the 107th meeting against the Derby Red Raiders. Shelton, they finish at 9-1, and with the number 2 seed in the Class L, they'll get a home game against rival West Haven on Tuesday. Derby, they finish their season 3-7. Back to you guys.
All right, terrific job, Chris. Thank you so much. Big-time performance from the Gales.
Remember how Shelton opened the season? It was with a loss.
With a loss.
And they haven't lost since.
Roland, hey, you want to peak at the end of the year.
Jeff Roy does such a
postseason.
great job coaching that team because they were young. They lost a lot of players coming back from last year's team, that last year's playoff team, and he just keeps getting fired up and ready.
Dealing with his own Achilles injury.
Yeah, right.
So
good
doing
for him.
A heck of a job.
All right, let's keep it going with a team that has already clinched a spot in the playoffs. That is Watertown. Watertown hosting Torrington today, so a nice NVL matchup. And who's got a better setup than this for tailgating?
Wow.
Oh, big monitors to
fun.
catch some NFL football perhaps, or watch CT Sports now. Watertown opening the second half already with a big lead. Adam Alenkis adding to it. 45 yards he goes for the score. Watertown at this point up 48-13. Torrington doing everything he can to keep up. Dylan Myrie, he's going to shoot through the hole here. A nice gap created for him by the offensive line, and he's in. So the Red Raiders on the board. 48-21, though. Watertown still up big. Watertown keeping their foot on the gas. Quarterback Nick Delia keeps it on the read option here. Fools everyone, including our photographer, but he catches up to him. Nobody else does. A 50-yard touchdown play. Final score, 68-28. So a 40-point victory for Watertown. Watertown finishing 8-2, playoff bound as a number 5 seed. We'll have, again, more on that coming up later here on CT Sports Now.
Bragging rights in the city of New Haven, the Elm City Bowl. Bowen Field, the site, and Wilbur Cross taking on Hill House and the Academics, starting really fast. Fast as in Quintus Reed fast. And a touchdown jaunt right there. And the Academics with a 7-0 first quarter lead. Hill House, second quarter now. Quintus Reed going up top to Taryn Malloy. Big catch, 20-0. 20-0. Hill House is on top. But when I say bragging rights for New Haven around the line, that's when Wilbur Cross gets it going. Josiah Barnes, the touchdown. Wilbur Cross creeping back. It's 20-12 in the third quarter. They were trailing this by 20, and then Barnes again tying it up at 20. And the momentum for Wilbur Cross kept on. And they come all the way back. Barnes going, oh, no, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did. 80 yards for the touchdown as Wilbur Cross comes back from that 20-0 deficit. The Governors win it. They'll be bragging all over New Haven, 26-20.
Give them tons of credit coming back from a 20-point deficit. How about that?
It's a fun time of year.
How about that? All right, so when the Bunnell Bulldogs woke up this morning, here's what they knew. We have to take care of our part. We got to win to have any chance of getting into the playoffs. Taking on Stratford in the Battle of Stratford. For more on that, let's go to Stephen Wasserman, a product of Western Connecticut State University. His mother's in studio to watch him, so you better do a good job, Stephen.
As if there wasn't any pressure before. She's about 2 feet away from me, so that doesn't really help. But yeah, regardless, like you said, Bunnell needing to win to get into the Class L playoffs. They needed a little bit of help, but guess what? They did their part. So let's go to Stratford for these highlights at Penders Field. Bulldogs are all ready to go, and they're going to start off strong in the first quarter. Jared Davis with a carry, just carving through these defenders like a Thanksgiving turkey, getting all the way down inside Stratford's 20-yard line. Nice job for Jared Davis, and the Bulldogs were going to cap it off. Jalen Madison taking the handoff, and he would punch it in from about 8 or 9 yards out, thereabouts, and the Bulldogs with a 7-0 early lead. Moving on, it's Richard Souffrant, quarterback keeping it himself, trying to get to the goal line and stopped just short at maybe the 1-inch line, if we're going to call it that. But guess what? The Bulldogs would cap it off here. The Bulldogs strong all season long, and Souffrant would take it in from about 1 inch out for the touchdown. Bunnell goes on top 14-0 at that point, and they take this one by a final score of 46-6. But as we heard with the New Canaan victory earlier, Bunnell, despite their tremendous 8-2 season, are out of the Class L playoffs. Moving on to Class M, the Foreign Lions taking on the Jonathan Law Lawmen. The Lawmen have not beaten Foreign since 2007, and they're looking for their first ever postseason berth. But they were leading in the third quarter, 13-6, but no longer. That's Jared Hubler going all the way down the sideline, 75 yards for the touchdown, and the Lions climbing back for a 14-13 lead. And this time doing it on the defensive side of the ball. How about Zach Cleary getting in the backfield, taking down the quarterback? Of course, it's a physical game, as you saw there, but Jonathan Law would come back. They were really hungry. They really wanted to get to the playoffs, and Hayden Holme connecting with Ethan Saley going down the sideline, and he's inside the Lions' 30-yard line. And listen, you know what they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Holme, this time to Saley in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Law with a 21-20 lead. And guess what? The Lawmen would take this one 34-28, last-minute touchdown from Michael Plaskin, and that would give them the victory and their first ever postseason berth in Class M. Of course, Jeff Bavino, the coach for 4, and that was his last game, retiring after 43 years as a head coach. So a phenomenal year for him, but maybe an even better win for Jonathan Law, as again, for the first time they advanced to the Class M playoffs. Guys, back to you.
Ooh. History made in Milford.
Wow, how about Jonathan Law? Good for them, and congratulations to Coach Jeff Bavino on a terrific coach as a football coach. He'll continue coaching softball at Notre Dame Fairfield.
Sure.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll check in on the Battle of Trumbull, plus the oldest rivalry in high school sports. That's going on up at Eastern.
I thought you and me going.
No. We're relatively new in comparison. And the oldest rivalry in high school sports up in Eastern Connecticut. Stick around. It's all coming up next here on CT Sports Now. Welcome back, CT Sports Now. We continue with our Thanksgiving football feast. A lot of football and a lot more to come here.
Yeah, so Battle of Trumbull, you mentioned it earlier. Parochial versus public, as well as St. Joe's and Trumbull get together as they do every year. And I'll tell you what, St. Joe's getting ready for the state playoffs, and boy, did they tune up. We'll go and take things midway through this game. The St. Joe's defense getting the turnover. Jesse Lawson taking it down to the Trumbull 5. They're deep in Eagles territory, and Jaden Sheridan is going to take it the final 5 yards. And St. Joe's has a comfortable lead. It's 51-0 in the second quarter. Early in the third, the defense continuing to stifle that Trumbull offense. Jermaine Williams with the sack, and then Sheridan again, this time a 12-yard TD run. And you get the idea. St. Joe's finishing off a tremendous season, knocking off their in-town arch rivals. St. Joe's will move on at 9-1 and be the second seed in Class S. 65-6 is the final. St. Joe's gets the victory and moving on.
You know what I loved as a kid is playing football in the mud. Nothing like playing football on a wet, mucky field. Well, that's what we have for Griswold versus Plainfield. Plainfield needing a win and some help to get into the playoffs. Griswold going to do everything he can to stop that from happening. Plainfield driving. Patrick Strain, though, he comes up with the big interception here for Griswold. Wolverines holding on to a 6-0 lead. Plainfield gets the ball back, but watch what happens when they do so. Off the bad snap, the defense recovers, so Griswold still now in the third quarter, up 6-0. Very next play, Bryce Milkeski gets the handoff. He's 5 yards out, and he's going to go 5 yards in for the touchdown. Well, this is after that play coming up here. And so Griswold is able to take a 12-0 lead in the fourth quarter. Last chance coming up for Plainfield here, and Andrew Kazoil comes away with the big interception. And there you have it. Griswold foils any chances Plainfield had of getting into the playoffs. 12-0, there's the interception. 12-0 is your final score. So Griswold ends the season with a victory. Plainfield will have to look toward next year to make the playoffs.
The oldest rivalry in high school sports. Here it is, 121 years, I believe, for New London and NFA. And this one, very much like the Elm City Bowl, one team jumping on top big early, Shea McManaway and the NFA Wildcats with the 1-yard touchdown plunge at a 7-0 lead for Norwich Free Academy. A New London interception brought it down to the 1, and then a touchdown right there, or the safety, I should say, and it's a 9-0 lead. And then McManaway in the second quarter. McManaway goes that away. The touchdown of Michael McCormick. It's 22-0. NFA on top in the third quarter, but oh my goodness, New London's Whalers coming right back. Owen George to Elijah Parker. They go for 2 and bring it to 22-20 with 3 minutes to go. And then it's Gio Lopez making the grab between the defenders inside the 10. 3 seconds to go. 3 seconds. Yes. And it's Parker over the middle. The catch. Incredible. Yes. You can jump on him. Dog pile in the end zone. Why not? New London rallies and knocks off NFA. What a finish to that oldest rivalry. 26-22.
Wow.
How about New
What
London?
a finish. That is definitely the finish of the day, huh?
Might be, yeah, absolutely.
All
Might
right.
be I haven't seen them all, but one of the best in that rivalry, shall we say.
Terrific. Well, you saw all but a couple, right? All right, so who needs Thanksgiving dinner when you got Thanksgiving breakfast? The guys at Wilton coming into Trinity Catholic making themselves right at home with the tailgating. Love it. First drive of the game here for the Warriors. Brian Calabrese, the 34-yard touchdown pass to Robert Herman. Quickly, 7-0. Yeah, they can run the ball, Wilton, but we find out they can throw the ball a bit too. Calabrese to Herman again. This is the catch of the day. The only problem, they ruled he was out of bounds, but is that a terrific catch? I just had to show it to you because I thought it was such a great catch.
Give him some love.
On 4th and 2, though, just a couple plays later from the 18, Drew Phillips coming right at us. Hello, Drew. 14-0. Wilton goes on to win it 42-0. A pretty good season for the Warriors, ending up at 6-4.
Well, we've been talking about bragging rights and battle ofs all over the place, different towns and communities across the state. And you know what? There's one in Fairfield today, too.
The Fairfield Ward Ludlow matchup. And for that, we bring in a Fairfield Ludlow student. You know, it's funny because his whole family is in Washington tonight, and glad you all are here. But one of them said, you know, there are adults who aren't doing what you're doing. And here is Aiden Blank doing just about everything tonight. Aiden, take us through this Ward Ludlow matchup.
All right, well, we see a lot of good matchups, and I think we saw a pretty good one down at Ludlow. Finally, Ludlow's here to host. Didn't end too well for them last year. We'll see how it went down this year. The cheerleaders doing their thing. It's black and red versus blue, white, and silver, and they're wearing black. But we'll start with Joe Janai. He was all over that ball. An interception, and that's going to lead to this. Matt Sermonaro going to throw a bullet to William Stearns for the Ward touchdown. They were already up 7-0, so now they're up by 2, but Ludlow, they don't go down without a fight. They've been having a heck of a year. Josh Evans going to run it. He would come out of the game later with an injury, but he will run it for the first down. And then Kevin Quinn jams himself across that goal line. And just like that, it is a one-possession game. Michael Logan going to go up for this pass. I believe that was from Kevin Quinn. And he goes right up for it, but nobody was stopping Kasim Donazumi. A touchdown in the third quarter and a 55-22 final. The Mustangs all over the Falcons in this one. We'll see how the Falcons can come out next year. So, guys, it was a heck of a game, and thanks for letting me shoot it, and we'll throw it back to you.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving. What an effort.
I hope we're securing our jobs here. He's 14 years old.
So child labor laws will keep us in these seats for just a little bit longer.
Aiden, very well done. More football. How about this? Woodstock Academy at Killingly. Killingly has already wrapped up a playoff spot. Trying to just close out the season undefeated. Well, Spencer Lockwood with an 8-yard touchdown run there makes it a 20-0 Killingly lead. Lockwood, a big game today, hauls in the touchdown pass from Luc de Saulnier, making it 28-0. Woodstock trying to hang in there. Cameron Janis gets in the end zone here to get the Academy on the board at 28-6. These shots are taken from the blimp. Anyway, Killingly turning bad to good here. So after the punt, it's fumbled, and Jackson Lopes picks it up and scores yet again, making it 40-6. So Killingly, which has a knack for scoring a ton of points, they average like 40-something points a game, wins at 55-6 to complete their undefeated season, 10-0. So Killingly off and running to the playoffs with a 10-0 regular season. Mark, talking about the playoffs.
Yes, playoffs.
Playoffs.
We're going to, you know, a lot of people would like to know who Killingly's going to play in the playoffs and who everybody is going to play. So we really, Noah has been able to script it out, break it down for us.
Let's start with Double L.
Unofficially.
Yeah, let's start with Double L. And these are unofficial, right? They'll become official over the weekend unless there's some points that have been misplaced. But Fairfield Prep will be at Greenwich, 8 versus number 1. West Haven at Shelton. Shelton doing a great job moving up to the number 2 seed. East Hartford, the first time mark in, 30 years that East Hartford is in the playoffs, will take on number 3, Darien. Darien dropping with the loss to New Canaan in the Turkey Bowl today. And Naugatuck, despite its loss to Ansonia, ends up out South Windsor. That'll be a nice matchup there.
All right, Class L, very strong field in Class L. The top seed is Middletown. They get New Canaan, who squeaks in the Rams defending state champs.
Congratulations, Middletown. You got the top seed.
They're the 8th seed. Number 7 seed, North Haven. A rematch with Daniel Hand at the Surf Club Tuesday night. The 6th seed is Maloney traveling to Fitch. And Windsor still staying at home despite losing to Middletown on Wednesday. Massac, the Panthers, a loser in their final game, now hitting the road in that 5-4 matchup.
In Class M, Jonathan Law getting into the playoffs. First time, not in 30 years, first time ever. And they're going to take on that Killingly, that high-powered offensive Killingly. SMSA at that Coventry Co-op. Joe Barlow getting in as the number 6 seed by virtue of that win over Weston today will be at Sheehan. Watertown, which had already secured that playoff spot, will be at Berlin.
And in Class S, it's as strong as I can ever remember.
Whoa.
Number 1 seed Ansonia gets its Valley rival Seymour on Tuesday. O'Brien Tech making it in. They'll take on the Cadets of St. Joe's. Valley Regional traveling to Rocky Hill to battle the Terriers. They're undefeated on the season. And the Stafford Co-op, 14 schools, I think, no, 5, will be at Bullard Havens in the Bridgeport area in the 5-4 Class S matchup.
We got through it, and we hope
fun.
you get through your Thanksgiving day. Hope you have a terrific dinner, or if you've already eaten, you're digesting well by now. But happy Thanksgiving, and don't forget to keep it tuned right here to CT Sports Now. Next Tuesday, all those playoff games, you can look right here for all your highlights.
It's going to be fun. Enjoy your Connecticut Thanksgiving, everybody.